Why is role ambiguity so damaging for middle managers, and what can you do to fix it?
In every organization, there's one group holding the whole operation together. Not the top, not the bottom, the middle. Today, three of the sharpest minds in middle management step up to the mic. Jeff Siegel, Lisa Wood, and Sally Foley-Lewis. Each brings a different lens, one shared mission. Decode what it really takes to lead from the middle with confidence, clarity, and impact. Same questions, three perspectives. Get ready for insight that cuts through the noise and goes straight to the operational heartbeat of your organization. Let's dive in.
I think the thing that can be really, really damaging for middle managers trying to sort of figure out, how to navigate the challenges of their very complex role is that they often don't understand what their role is, or maybe more importantly, or better said, is they don't understand that they have multiple roles. They have to manage a relationship with their boss, they have to manage a relationship with their team, and they have to manage a relationship with all the other people around them that they need to do things, but that they have no authority over. And so if you misunderstand this, it can be really, really damaging. So, for example, if you don't understand that the relationship with your boss is all about creating credibility, getting your boss to believe that you're going to get your work done, or whatever, and you get sort of annoyed when your boss is maybe over managing you or micromanaging you or whatever, you're just going to frustrate them. And then they get frustrated with you. You get frustrated with them. The relationship kind of frays, and you end up kind of making a mess because you are trying to sort of demonstrate your independence, and they're looking for you to demonstrate that you know how to do your job. And so there's a lot of frustration, right? Same thing when you're trying to manage your people. If so let's say you do exactly what your boss wants, and you tell your people, this is what I need you to do, and they're doing what we were just describing in the previous example. They're pushing back on you. They're saying, I don't want to do this, or they're saying this isn't right, or they're saying this is too much work, or whatever it is. So now if you don't understand that your role with them is to create the conditions where they are able to do their job really well, that they have the right training, that they have the right processes in place, so that you have the right people in the right roles. If you don't understand that that's your role, then you're going to get frustrated with your people, they're going to get frustrated with you, and the work isn't going to get done the way you need it to, which is then in turn going to frustrate your boss. And then finally, if you don't understand the role with respect to your peers, right, that you need to gain commitment from that. You actually can't just tell them, my boss said to do this, so you have to do it, because that's not an incentive for them. They don't work for you. They don't work for your boss. So telling them, using that authority to try and get them to do something is not going to work. So you have to understand their perspective and try and do things, get them to commit to you. If you don't understand those roles, you're going to be knocking things over, stepping on toes, and creating all kinds of problems. One thing I often like to say is, people don't do what they should do. They do what they do. And so it is your job as a middle manager to avoid creating a mess around you, to understand what people are going to do, and then behave in a way that gets them to do the thing that they were going to do that is also helpful to you, as opposed to pushing them into doing something that isn't helpful to you at all.
Role ambiguity, I think, is one of the biggest sources of pressure for middle managers, because they fundamentally sit in the space between senior leaders and their teams. And when expectations are unclear, changing, or coming from different directions, which they often can in fast-moving organisations, which really hit the middle, they end up holding the tension for everyone else. That quickly affects confidence in middle management. It affects decision making and ultimately performance. So let's break it down. The first problem is hesitation. If you are unclear what you're responsible for and what you are able to decide, or even where your authority sits, you either hold back or keep checking upwards. That really slows everything down. It is so inefficient. So the fix is clarity on scope. What do I own? What do I influence? And what sits somewhere else? The second problem here is the loss of credibility. That's the risk when you have ambiguity and there's uncertainty and there's that delay in decision making. So teams ultimately expect direction, especially from senior leaders. And obviously in middle management, your senior stakeholders, your execs expect delivery. So without clear boundaries and that clarity, it can look like the middle manager is being inconsistent, even when they're not. So the fix here is alignment, regular conversations with senior leaders about priorities, expectations, and what success actually looks like. And of course, then the third problem is the personal toll this takes, really, the impact on the individuals who are the middle managers. Being accountable without full control, without autonomy to make decisions is exhausting. And over time, it leads to frustration and burnout. I think it also can lead to the undermining of your own self-confidence, your own self-belief and your understanding of how you can add value. So, what fixes this is ultimately not a better job description. It's ongoing dialogue. Roles need to be revisited, priorities reset, and pressure made visible. And I think that can be a challenge for individuals in the middle manager space. Being really upfront and honest about how they're feeling, where their challenges are, where help is required. I think there's a stigma around this that we need to push through. Just because you're in a senior management position doesn't mean you don't require or benefit from support. So ultimately, I think role ambiguity is damaging because it creates hesitation, weakens credibility, and it increases pressure. What fixes it is simple but often missing. Clear scope, real alignment, and regular honest conversation about what the role actually requires.
You've just heard two really important takes on role ambiguity, and I want to share a little bit more and take this a little bit further, because role ambiguity, it isn't about just knowing your role or even having multiple roles. It's about being expected to perform contradictory roles at the same time. You're told to empower your team, but also hit non-negotiable targets. You're told to take ownership, and at the same time, you've got to escalate decisions. Then you're told to collaborate, but still, you've got to deliver faster than everyone else. So that's not ambiguity, that's tension by design. And here's where I'll challenge the idea of just get clarity. Clarity helps, 100%, absolutely. But even in the most well-defined organizations, the middle is still the pressure point. So the real shift isn't just clarity of role, it's capability to navigate the tension. High-performing middle managers don't wait for perfect clarity. There is no perfect day. They get very good at three things. First, translating tension, turning that conflicting expectations into clear priorities. Secondly, negotiating reality. So pushing back respectfully, resetting expectations, and making some of the trade-offs actually visible. We make trade-offs all the time, but how visible do you make them? And then third, it's about owning your space. Not just asking, what's my role, but deciding, how will I lead in this role? That's more empowering and more powerful. Because if you wait for the ambiguity to disappear, you'll be waiting forever. The middle isn't messy by accident. It's messy because that's where leadership actually happens. And that's because the middle matters.
You've just heard from 3 leaders who have dedicated their careers to strengthening the heartbeat of every organization, the middle. Jeff Siegel brings more than 2 decades across global food, grocery, and restaurant giants and a mission to build better workplaces from the inside out. He's a coach, author of The Middle Matters, and co-founder of The SALT Perspective, helping leaders at every level increase their impact. From Cape Town, Lisa Robin Wood is the middle manager coach. Her own leap into senior middle management sparked the confidence crisis that transformed her life and career. Today, she helps managers rebuild their confidence, sharpen their self-awareness, and thrive through GRIP Coaching's practical, high-impact development programs. Sally Foley-Lewis has spent over 20 years in the trenches and the boardroom, working with more than 20,000 managers across industries and continents. She's a global award-winning speaker, author, and educator who equips managers to be confident, capable, and courageous, and delivers the tools that lift performance fast. 3 experts, 1 shared passion, helping middle managers succeed where it matters most. Stay connected, keep developing, and keep leading from the middle.